Sherry with Heck and Keys Needle. Welcome to my craft room. Welcome to those of you who have subscribed, to those of you who just discovered me, and to those who just kind of pop in to see what I'm up to. Everybody's welcome. Welcome. It is Thursday, May 15th, 2025. Anyway, I'm joined here today by the adorable Snickers. He is enjoying the new palm trees that I put in here for them to enjoy the sunbeams in the window. We are joined by his brother Jellybean, who has taken over the dog's blanket. And we have the lovely Artemis, who is right at my feet because Jellybean took her blanket. Hecate is the only one not with us. She is currently enjoying the peace and quiet of my bedroom and is laying unharassed, lounging in my bed on the pink blanket without having to deal with her brothers. Could life get any better? Today we have some cross stitch, obviously. We have some sewing, a little bit of gardening, and some life. Cross stitch. Now for cross stitch, if you saw my last video, you know I am doing Monogamous May because I want to get some of my projects done. I want them finished. To that end, I chose a project, a study of skulls, which was a stitch along by the Stitch Crypt. This was last year's. It was a stitch along from last year, and I had kept up with it up until Christmas when I got caught up in doing Christmas gifts and packing to get ready to move to Alabama. And at that point I got behind, which is fine. It's totally fine. But that was the first project I chose for Monogamous May. And not only did I finish it, I fully finished it. And here it is. I love it. It turned out awesome. Now, this was stitched on a 16 count Aida using all DMC floss, all the called for colors, and it's on fabric I dyed myself. This one I did as a companion piece to my Famers and Fungi that I also finished last year. So, it is finished. Yay! And fully finished. So it can be hung on the wall. Snickers is having a good time over here. He is playing with the new. Why are you trying to bite it? He's playing with his new palm trees. The next one, I do have another fully, well, I wouldn't say it's a fully finished item, but it is a, you fell. These boys. But it is a refinished item. Now, when I was packing everything up to move, I had stumbled upon this project. This is an old project from the 90s when my children were small. I don't even know where I've got it at a slant because of the window over here. I don't even know where I found this pattern. It may have been in like a cross stitch and country crafts magazine. I know I subscribed to those for a good decade, starting in the 80s into like the mid 90s. And I used to have all of them, but we lost them in Hurricane Harvey. It is what it is. But I think that might be where I got this pattern from. But in any case, the frame was all messed up. It was broken and it no longer had glass in it. So I reframed it. Now it's kind of wrinkled. It kind of got a little, the fabric got a little stretched, I guess you would say. I don't know. It's very old. I stitched it in the 90s. But it's fine. It's fine. And I'll hang it in our bedroom or our bathroom, one or the other. But Hobby Lobby had frames half off. So when I bought the frame for the study of skulls, I went ahead and found this one and it matched it. It fit this perfectly. So I got this refinished so it can now be hung on my wall. So yay. Now, once I finished the study of skulls, I spun my little wheel to see which one would be next. And the next one that I got from Monogamous May was my Riolis kit, the Maine Coon. So I've been working on that monogamously. And guess what? It is also finished. It turned out gorgeous. I love it. I used all the kit materials. I love it. Now I have to get a frame for it. But it turned out great. So that's finish number 2. Yay! All that does is tell me I made the right decision when I decided to do Monogamous May. Those of you who have been here for a while know I don't do challenges, but this year is my year to get these projects done. So with that in mind, I decided to go ahead and do the Monogamous May. Snickers is having a field day over here. I think I found his new favorite toy. But anyway, those 2 are finished. Yay! I did work. Let's see. May 1st, I think, was my last video, and I was currently working on Vampirum by Noctiflora Designs. That's not distracting at all. I did get I got this little creature done. He's finished. I didn't finish the one on the other side. Number 1, it was May, and I wanted to get started on the Monogamous May. But there's another matching little creature on this side. I didn't get it done. The problem is, I was working on this, and I was working on him. I had to completely, this entire wing was shifted over 1. And I had to completely rip out that wing and redo it. And by the time I ripped it out, or restitched it, I was so disgusted with myself because I can't count that I just put it away. But I did manage to put in 703 stitches, and it's at 33% now, which isn't bad. This is being stitched on 14 count Aida from Witch's Garden Crafts in the color Batavia, which they dyed specifically for this stitch along. Once it's finished, it'll look like this. I love it, and it will be the companion piece for my rare horror flies from 2 years ago. So I did do a little bit of work on that, not a lot, because like I said, once I had to rip out an entire wing, I just said, okay, no. I wasn't feeling it after that. It happens to the best of us. Okay, now May is only half over. I've gotten 2 finishes, so I went ahead and spun the wheel to determine what my next project would be. Now on the wheel, I had hidden the really big ones that I knew couldn't be finished, like the dark elf and the big full coverage. Those I know I can't finish, so I had hid those from the wheel and just left the projects on that were finishable, if that's a word. It is for our purposes today. So what it come up with? Haunted Hollow. Now, Haunted Hollow, another stitch along from last year, because I joined all of them. And I will never do such a thing again. Haunted Hollow was a stitch along by Stay Platinum Stitching. I am using all of the DMC. It is housed in my little Halloween bag made by me. I am stitching it on a 14 count Aida from Witch's Garden Crafts in the colorway Lake Lanier. This is a fabric I got in the Fabric of the Month Club. I'm not a member of it now because I have enough fabric. I want to use what I have before I get more. So I may rejoin later, but we'll see. But it is currently here. I have the first 2 sections done. Now, this one is currently at 33%, so a third, and I only have 6,750 stitches left. So I'm thinking I can get this one done this month as well, maybe with time to spare. We'll see. Hopefully. I love it. I think it's turning out so cute. It is turning out so cute. Now when it's finished, it'll look like this. So I'm hoping I can get it finished. I don't see a problem with it. I think I'll be able to finish it with, plenty of time. Because 6,000 stitches isn't that many. I mean, the Vampirum, I put in 703 stitches over one day. So I think I can get that one done in plenty of time before the end of the month. That's the goal. Hopefully life doesn't throw us something that says, oh. I will say I'm really enjoying the monogamous stitching. I was a monogamous stitcher for decades until just recently, when I started. I'll tell you, when I stopped being a monogamous stitcher is when I started my Mill Hill kit. I started that kit the same time we got Hecate and her brother Apollo. We have since lost Apollo. We lost him before his 3rd birthday due to a heart defect. But 2 little kittens and beads don't mix. So I started a regular cross stitch project, and that didn't require beads, so that when they were awake, I had that to stitch on, and then when they took their little naps, I could stitch on the beaded project. So, and then, I always kept it at 7 projects at a time. After that, no more than 7. For whatever reason, 7 is my magical number, because that's 1 project per day of the week. Now, I may work on a project 3 days in a week. That's fine. But for whatever reason, my ADHD brain, that makes sense. Anything beyond 7, and I start stressing out. Which is why this year, I am determined to get back down to 7 projects. And with every 3 finishes this year, I can start a new project. Well, the study of skulls was my 3rd, because I finished the beautiful biomes and I finished my cherries from Luca S. So the study of skulls was my 3rd. So now I can start a new project. Now the new project I want to start is being housed in my little black kitty bag, which was a gift from Laura from I Stitch Birds. It was made by Little Boat 88, and it is Cherry Ice Cream by Luca S. I want to stitch this one, and it comes with everything, the hoop and everything. I want to stitch that one as a companion to my cherries, so that I can hang them together on my kitchen wall. But it like I said, it comes with everything, even the hoop, everything. So probably in June, I will start this one. And like I said, the projects I start this year are going to be smaller projects. I want to go through the kits I have in my stash already. Because I'd like to make some room, make some space. And I have them. They're beautiful kits. I'd like to stitch them. So that is going to be my new start once I'm ready to start it. I may start it before June 1st. It doesn't matter. There's no telling. Now, that's, I believe, all I have for cross stitch. I did not buy anything. This is a low buy year for me. I did not buy anything for cross stitch. I didn't need anything. So, my plans are, I'm going to work on Haunted Hollow either until it's finished or until June 1st. And we'll see what I can get done. Now, if I do get it finished, depending on how much of the month is left, I may spin the wheel and pick something else to try to finish. We'll see how that goes. But let's see how fast I can finish the Haunted Hollow. And then we'll go from there. Next month, as I said, if I don't start it before next month, I will start my Cherry Ice Cream Kit by Luca S. And I will also start working on the Christmas presents for my daughter and my husband. Now, my husband's is a kit. And it's a small kit. It's not large. So that one shouldn't take me any time at all to finish. My daughter's is not a kit. It's just a little project. But again, it shouldn't take me that long to finish. So those are my plans. All I know is I'm not going to be like last year where I was stitching 3 different Christmas projects and sewing Christmas projects all in December. That's not happening this year. No way. So those are my plans. And I think that's it for cross stitch. So on to sewing. Sewing. Now that I've finished my craft room, I am back to sewing. I actually sewed something. I did. I spun the wheel for my sewing projects, and it landed on this one. Jade's drawstring bag. It is a kit that I got from the Sewers Club. Now, I am no longer a member of the Sewers Club. A person can only have so many bags. I'm sorry. I don't need that many. And I really don't want that many. But I did sew it. Here it is. Got the little label, which came with the kit. And here's the drawstring part. Now, this project, first off, the Sewers Club, you get a kit every month. Comes with the exclusive pattern. It comes with the fabric, the thread, any notions you need, like the label. It comes with the interfacing, the fusible fleece, whatever you need to make the project, it comes. It's all inclusive. All you have to do is thread up your machine and sew, and cut and sew. That being said, this particular pattern on the back, it says a half yard, half yard, half yard. You needed a half yard of your main fabric. You needed a half yard of your inside fabric. And then you needed a half yard of the fusible fleece. Okay, simple enough. Now the problem. We got a half yard of everything, just like the pattern calls for. Now, those who sew know what I'm about to say. Whenever you have a directional print, a print that goes in one direction, you need extra fabric because you have to lay the pieces out in such a way that your pattern goes all in the same direction. Otherwise, you're going to have, a little kitty cats pointing this way, that way, this way, that way, and it's not going to look right. Now, this outside fabric is the fabric that came with the kit. I also had the fusible fleece, and I had plenty of both of these. Matter of fact, this one, I had very few scraps left of this fabric here with the flowers. The problem came, the fabric they gave us for the inside looks like this. Okay. It is a directional fabric. It's little cone flowers. So it all has to face this way. They only gave us, well, they said it was a half a yard, but it was just under half a yard. And I did not have enough to cut out the pieces. So, went through my stash, my lovely stash, and I found this fabric. And it turns out I had exactly half a yard of it. So I just used this fabric. It matches fine, perfectly fine. It's the same shade of blue. So I use this. That was the first problem with the pattern. Now, in the pattern, you have the little label. Normally, when you're putting a label on something like this, you would take the piece while it's flat before you sew the shell of the bag or whatever, and you would go ahead and stitch that label on there. They did not have you do that. What they had you do is, once you had the shell all done, then you had to do contortions to get this label on here. I would have changed that. The other thing in the pattern, now luckily I've been sewing for decades, so I knew to do this. Now the way it is made, this here, the drawstring top of it, well, it's also the lining, okay, of the bag. Now, when they had you do it, they had you sew, basically you put this piece and this piece right sides together and sewed around it so that it becomes all one piece, and then you turn it right side out. Well, in order to do that, in the bottom of this all the way down here, you had to leave a hole, okay, in order to turn it right side out. They never told you to leave a hole. Luckily, like I said, I am an experienced seamstress and I knew to leave a hole. But if you were a beginner, you would have had a bag that was just stuck inside out because you wouldn't have been able to turn it. So that was something they kind of left out of the pattern, which, you know, to me was no big deal. But for somebody who didn't have the experience that I have, that could have been an issue. I'm not a fan of the pattern. I don't know if I will make it again. Honestly, not really a fan of the bag all that much. I don't know what I'll use it for. I may just give it as a gift. Maybe, you know, send it to my mother, fill it full of maybe a book and some snacks and maybe a Starbucks gift card or something, and send it to her as a gift. That might be her birthday gift this year. But it's one of my projects done, finished, off the wheel, off the list, out of the crate. So, one down. A whole crate to go. But that's okay. Like I said, I canceled the subscription to the Sewers Club basically while we were moving and I was setting up the craft room and everything. I have such a backlog of projects up there that I said I can't do anymore right now. I may join another one later. I don't know, honestly. I kind of, don't get me wrong, getting the whole kit each month and it's kind of a surprise. It's kind of cool. But at the same time, I have fabric. And I have fabric that I picked. So I don't know about these. But for now, my crate's full. I don't have room for any more. So I canceled it. But anyway. So that one was done. Now that one's done, I once again spun the wheel and came up with this one. Now this is the Petals Table Runner kit. I've already pulled it out of the crate so that I can start cutting and everything. Now, this one I've had for a while. Now, a while ago, maybe a couple of years ago, my husband had gotten me the So Sampler from Fat Quarter Shop for a few months. And this is one of the projects I got. Now, it's this pattern. It is the Petals Table Runner. Now, as far as a table runner goes, we don't put one on the kitchen table because our kitchen table is square. So a long runner like this would not work. However, our kind of island in the kitchen, we put it on there. And that's where Jelly Bean's basket is. His basket that he's almost destroyed now. But it's pretty. We got, it came with this Fat Quarters? Maybe. Let's see. Fat 8s. But we got all of these pretty bright colors. I like them. So this one is going to be my next project for sewing. Now, it comes with 2 different sizes. You can make the long one or you can make a shorter one. I will probably make the shorter one because I don't need one that long. That one is like 54.5 inches long. No, I don't need one that long. Okay, I just don't. So I will probably make the shorter one. But that's the next sewing project. And like I said, I need to start cutting. And I need to pick out fabric for everything because we only got the ones for the little petals. We didn't get the background fabric. We didn't get the border fabric. So, and we didn't, the binding I'm not worried about. I have lots of fabric for that, but I'll go through my stash and see what I have. And if I don't have anything, I can always get solid colored fabrics. But anyway, so that's the next sewing project. And the last thing I have for sewing, help, I did do some shopping. Not much. But I ordered some buttons. I ordered some buttons from the Dress It Up button shop. And I love them. I absolutely love them. I'm already trying to figure out what I want to put them on. The first ones I got were these pretty little flower buttons. They're floral, bright colors. And I got 2 packs of those so that I'll have enough for whatever I want to put them on. Next, I got just some pretty little flower buttons in different colors. Purples, pinks, whites, and a few black. I got 2 packs of those. The next one are those sunflowers. I got 2 packs of those. I thought those were really cute. Maybe to go on a blouse or something. And then I got some little mushrooms, which I thought would be cute for the fall. And they're just flat buttons. And the next one, I got 1 pack of these little strawberry buttons, which I thought were cute. I thought those would probably be cute on like a little summer top. Maybe for my daughter. And then these are not buttons, they're just flat backs, but they're little kitties. I'm not sure what I'm going to put them on. I can't decide if I want to use them as needle minders or if I want to decorate around a stitched project or something, but I got them. Okay, that does not look comfortable. That cannot be comfortable. I don't know what to tell you. These boys. But anyway, so that's all I got. Not much shopping. I haven't bothered to go back to Joann's. Why should I? They're all supposed to be closed by the end of the month. The last time my husband and I ran in there just to see what they had, when I was trying to organize everything in here, sales were non-existent. The store was filthy. They were refusing to even cut fabric anymore. They said, you want it by the bolt. I'm like, I don't need that much. No. So I haven't bothered. They didn't have any stitching stuff left, so I haven't bothered going back in there. Why bother? But anyway, that's it for sewing. As I said, I'm going to get to work on the Petals table runner, so that will be in progress. Now, that's not going to just be a one-day thing, obviously. But anyway, so now gardening. My garden is growing really well. The tomatoes, peppers, garlic, and tomatillas they're huge. They're huge. They're doing great. They really are. Can't complain there. We've already got big old banana peppers like this big on the plants, which I'm making Chinese food for dinner. Maybe I'll cut a few of those and chop them up in there with the sweet chili shrimp I'm making. The sweet potatoes, they've settled into the bed and they're going crazy. We have the bed full of bush beans. The plants are about this tall now. And my husband has set up 4 more of the raised beds. Now we're going to have a total of 6. So he's setting up the last of them. He'll probably finish the last one tonight, putting it together. And then we can get them planted this weekend, most likely. We also still have 2 more beds we want to plow up just in the ground for like cucumbers and melons and things. But garden's doing great. We have finished the front flower bed. It is done on one side of the house. The other side of the house, we're undecided what we want to do with it yet. We have finished the bed by the back deck, between the deck and the garage. We have finished that bed. It looks fantastic. We are almost finished with the bed on the back side of the house. It's a long, thin bed. We just have one little corner left where my husband has to dig out some bushes that are really diseased. They've got powdery mildew. I mean, the whole bush is just black with it. And I'm like, I'm not fighting that. That's too far gone. Not to mention it's an Indian hawthorn, and I'm allergic to it anyway. It makes me break out in rashes. So I said, just dig it up, get rid of it, and then we don't have to worry about it. And I'll just treat the ground it was growing in, and then we're going to plant probably elephant ears and Turk's cap there. But we're working on that. So I'm just waiting for my husband to dig them up, and then I can go in and treat the ground and then plant the other plants. But we're working on it. The blueberries, they are big old fat things, but they gotta turn blue. I'm getting impatient. They look so good. But they're covered. They're covered. The branches don't even stand up anymore. They're drooping because they're so full of big old fat berries. So we're waiting for those to turn and to ripen so that we can pick them. But otherwise, garden's fine. Garden's fine. I will probably go back to doing my garden channel. Maybe next week I'll be able to film. We'll see. But in any case, that's the garden. So the next up, life. Life is fine. It's fine. I've gotten all the cats in and the dog for all their yearly shots and everything. Matter of fact, the two boys, Snickers and Jellybean, just went this morning. That's why they're a little subdued, okay? They hurt Jellybean's feelings. He wasn't happy about it. They cut his claws. He was getting stuck to everything because his toenails had grown into hooks. So Mama had him clip his nails. So he was not happy about that. Snickers is our little escape artist. They picked him up, took him back there. And the nurse said, yeah, I took one hand off of him and he was gone, and it took 3 of us to catch him. I said, Snickers doesn't like to be picked up or held. And he also doesn't like to have his nails clipped. So apparently he led them a merry chase. But they caught him. They clipped his nails, gave him his shots. Everybody's healthy. Everybody's happy. Everybody's fine except that Hecate, when I took her in, oh my God, they kept touching her. So she came home and cleaned herself for 2 hours. That cat. The problem is she's so soft. She's like velvet. Her fur is literally like velvet, and you can't help but just pet her. And the nurses were petting her, and the receptionist was petting her, and the doctor was petting her, and she's like, stop it. So I brought her home from the vet, and she spent the next 2 hours cleaning herself. My poor little teensy. But they're all healthy. They're all happy. They've all had their shots. So they're all caught up. Artemis, we've had a lot of storms, which from what I understand from the locals here, this is rainy season. And they have a lot of storms during the spring. Well, you know, Artemis doesn't like storms. No, she does not. So she's actually had 2 seizures. The vet says, let's hold off on putting her back on her meds, because she's been under a lot of stress with moving and getting used to a new place and getting used to new routines and new doctors and the storms and all of that. So she said that she's only had the 2. Let's just keep an eye on her. If she has any more, we may rethink putting her back on her meds. But we'll see. It's been a week. It's been a whole week. We haven't had another one, so hopefully it was just brought on by the storms, because the last time she had a seizure, we had storms bad enough that it knocked the power out for a few hours. So they were pretty good storms, so that could have set her off. So we're just keeping an eye on her for now. We've settled in. I just have like maybe 4 or 5 boxes left to unpack, but it's my husband's stuff. He has to unpack it. I don't know what he wants to do with it. So they're just waiting. We have like 5 or 6 boxes waiting to go to charity. And then my house will be my house. And it'll be so nice. But that's what's going on. as far as life goes. I spoke to my son. He is not going to Germany. He has changed his mind. He said there's just the political scene there is just not something he wants to be involved in. So he's staying here. I mean, for now, he's still in Houston. I mean, he owns a condo there, so I don't really see him moving. But he's staying there at this point. He's working on, I think he said he wants to start his own business doing like AI. So we'll see how that goes. But he's not going to Germany. So that's nice. I mean, it's nice. I want him to do what makes him happy. But he made the decision on his own, no input from any of us. So obviously that's what he wants. But other than that, everything's fine. We still love it here. For Mother's Day. Now for Mother's Day, my husband came up with the idea, let's drive down to Bayou La Battery. We'll stock up on seafood, some fresh shrimp from the boats and all that. We'll have Mother's Day lunch. Yeah. We had lunch. We found a little restaurant that was amazing. Oh my God, it was so good. Everyone else was closed. I told him, you've got to get used to the fact that this is deep South, not Texas. Texas is part of the South, but it's not part of the deep South, okay? Texas is like the border between deep South and Southwest. Those in America know what I mean. Those who aren't in America, you have the deep South, which is the Southeast. And then you have the Southwest, your deserts and things like that. That's Southwest. Texas is considered part of both of them, but neither of them at the same time. Texas is its own entity. And they don't claim to be part of either of them. And I was born and raised in Texas. Okay. Texas considers itself its own entity, and the rest of the United States considers Texas its own entity. You have the United States and you have Texas. Don't ask me. I don't know. But that's just how it's always been. So here we're in the deep South, otherwise known as the Bible Belt. That's just what they call it. Life is slower here. Places close up earlier here. It's a smaller town atmosphere here than what you get in Texas. Okay? Life moves quickly in Texas. It does not move quickly here. And so it was Mother's Day and Sunday, and a small little town fishing town like Bayou La Battery, everyone was closed. So I told my husband, you've got to get used to that. That's how it's going to be. So we'll probably try going back down there, maybe this coming weekend or the next weekend after, something like that, when it's not Sunday and Mother's Day. Okay. But he tried, and lunch was amazing. It was delicious, so can't complain about that. And he took me to get ice cream. So it was fine. He got me some garden stuff for Mother's Day. He got me a set of 3 pretty pots and various things, which is fine. I told him, because he asked me about cross stitch and sewing. I said, no, I don't want that for Mother's Day. Save that for Christmas. Because I just got this organized. I don't want to add more stuff to it. I want to use up some of the stuff I have. So there's that. But that's what's going on with us. Everything is fine. We're happy here. very happy here and very happy we made the move. I think this was the best thing we could have done. My husband had his doctor's appointment today, and his blood pressure was nowhere near as high as it was in Texas. He's not as stressed, so that helps. So I think this was the best choice for us, and we are very, very happy here. And now that we've settled in and we can start doing more fun things, that's even better. We went to the botanical garden. That was really nice. We were actually talking to the director, and my husband told her, "Oh no, my wife's got a master's degree in horticulture." And she's like, "Really? So would you like to volunteer?" I'm thinking about it. We'll see what I do. I don't know what I'll do. But anyway, that's it for here. That's it for me. Everything is fine. I hope everyone had, all of you mommies out there, I hope you had amazing Mother's Days, and that you got to spend it with your family, your loved ones. I hope everyone has an amazing weekend. It's Thursday, so I can say that. Thank you. I want to say thank you to everyone who's subscribed. I know I have some new subscribers. Probably my next video, it will be at the end of May, so 2 weeks from now, and I will probably do a whip parade on the whips I have left, since I am knocking some of them out, which is nice. And I'll probably do another brief introduction. I haven't introduced myself or told anybody who I am since my first video, so maybe it's time. Okay. It's been almost 2 years, so I'll probably do something around those lines. So if there's anything you want to know about me, put it in the comments. I'm pretty much an open book. But anyway, thank you for everybody who stopped in to listen to me ramble in my craft room. Thank you for everyone who has subscribed. I hope those of you who haven't maybe saw something you'd be interested in, and you will hit that subscribe button. Honestly, I always feel weird saying that. Subscribe if you want to. Okay? I'm not going to beg for subscriptions. But I do appreciate those who have subscribed. If you want to comment, please feel free. I always answer the comments. I love reading them. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I have to go baby my little boys because they had to go to the vet this morning. And they are out. And all I can say is that if I was sleeping with my head like this on the window sill, like Snickers is right now, I'd be in traction. Okay. I can't be comfortable. But anyway, everyone here is asleep. I bored them all to sleep, so I am going to go. Thanks for joining me in my craft room today, and I hope to see you again in 2 weeks.